Right, time to do Combat Patrol issue 40, and it's a beauty because it's the Terminators. Now, one thing that we want to really compare is the difference between a Chaos Space Marine Terminator and a Primaris Terminator, particularly in this gorgeous Indominus armour. So, among other things as well, I'm also going to compare it to a Horus Heresy Cataphracti Terminator, which is this handsome devil right here. So, let's start off, just to begin with, by having a look at the issue itself. So, right front and centre here, we have our Iron Warriors. One clearly a Terminator armed one, and the other a regular Marine. And then, of course, we've got our 5 Chaos Space Marine Terminators in the front. I've always loved the... Terminators are just cool. There's no other way to put it. Chaos Terminators have always really kind of stuck to the most up-to-date armours. Now, the fluff has basically been a combination of... they're either Renegade chapters who had it anyway, the most modern versions, or they're Traitor Legions who've managed to basically get the designs and manufacture them themselves. However, I kind of really love seeing my my Terminators, basically, my older style armor Terminators. I really think they're cool. And I really want to get hold of the Saturnine Terminator armor. It looks gorgeous. So let's just have a quick throw into this here. So, of course, how to build them. Now, I was just double checking because, yeah, they're not push fit. I was wondering if these would actually be push fit because the Indominus Terminators are. You know, it's given us a bit of information about the kind of cursed weapons that they have, the corrupted versions of power swords, of storm bolters and things like that. What really makes a Chaos Terminator are the horns, tusks, helmet. So that makes a very specific look to them. So you've got that kind of jackal face that the normal Terminator has, but then it's got the extended horns on it. You've also got the clear spikes that go on the back of them. And again, they're just to make them look chaotic. We've also got some shoulder pads, so the good thing is we can kind of mix and match and swap them round. Part of the core build is, you know, building the main bodies, and really it's a very mix and match when it comes to weapons. So, you know, again, you've got your freedom to make them all storm bolters if you want to, but I believe that, you know, the real core thing here is that they're flexible with the weapons that they can actually use. The reason I'm very curious about these as well is if we kind of have a look at a Cataphracti Terminator, the arm connectors are the same. So basically the body plan and then the way that it can potentially connect weapons look very universal. So kind of the excitement there is actually, with a bit of work, this kind of arm could connect to these. I like the idea of doing that because I like the idea of having a kit-bashed Chaos Space Marine Warrior with, you know, very unique weapon loadouts. It does show us that we can put the Reaper autocannon on, which I think it's just such a classic Chaos Space Marine weapon, that thing. I love the Reaper autocannon. It just looks so cool. There's also on the sprue some other weapon options, which I'll get to in a minute. So, we've also got our how to paint. Now, they're following the Black Legion. I've created my own chapter, which is my Crimson Heralds. Haven't done as many tutorial videos as I would like to, just because things have been really difficult over the last few months and I fell behind, but that's my colour scheme that I'm going for. I've already done a how to paint that, so if I don't have time to show how to paint this in particular. I'll be disappointed, but I have done it before now, how to paint that colour scheme. And moving on from there, you know, you've got a really good detailed paint guide anyway, and how to get all the different kind of colours and things down. I've noticed again, there's no law, so there's no like reading part on this one. It's very strange, but they seem to have been cutting down a bit on that recently. But a little bit about, you know, collecting them, and of course the core thing here, actually playing with them and seeing how you actually play a game, which I kind of like as well. To be honest, compared to the last issue was just so jam-packed with things that this feels very light, to be blunt about it. But I have to admit, you know, the models are what we really come for in the end. And it's this here, and I have to admit, the models are really cool. There is no other way to put it. You can clearly see they look really... they've just got the weight to them. Now, the big question is, are they Primaris scale? Or close to Primaris scale? You don't want your Chaos Space Marines to be Primaris scale. This is one of these things. You want them to be slightly shorter, because if they're exactly the same height, it kind of gets rid of the idea that the Primaris are bigger. Now, you could argue that Chaos Space Marines have been in the warp and therefore they have been infected. But still, I just think your regular Chaos Space Marine should have the same size as a Horus Heresy miniature, really. And looking at this, looking at leg size, I would say they are a lot closer to this scale than the Primaris scale. And I want that. I actually prefer that, in all honesty, because I want to feel like, you know, they are smaller than the Primaris. Not so small that they appear ridiculously weedy by comparison, but enough to create that distinction. Now, I have to admit, what I'm looking at here is these things. So we've got the Reaper autocannon and the heavy flamer. In a squad of 5, you really only should have one or the other, and that's as simple as. So, of course, I'm going for the Reaper autocannon because I love the thing. Absolutely think it's just so Chaos Space Marine that I just couldn't not have it in the squad. Other things that kind of are there is combi weapons, particularly for the leader of the squad. We've got a nice selection of pauldrons again, but only enough, I think. Yeah, only actually just enough to do the full squad, so we don't get any spares or extras on this, which is a shame. I like having some extras, to be quite honest. Same with the spikes, they're just the right amount. And I'm just kind of trying to have a quick think about something as well. Basically, one of my intentions with this kit, and it's why I would have loved to try and get a second kit of this, is to see if the Horus Heresy era weapons work with this kit. Oddly enough, I've got things like these older Dark Angels arms from the guard there, and if you notice, it does seem that they pretty much do fit on these bodies. So I actually have some alternative weapons. I'd love to maybe get rid of the Dark Angels insignias on certain weapons, and then, you know, that would look fantastic in a word bearer squad, to be quite honest. So I think that's going on there for my leader. I think that would look absolutely fantastic for the leader of my squad. Right, other than that, so what we've got, you know, we've got a really cool kit. We've got the Chaos Space Marine Terminators. I love Terminators. I love Chaos Space Marine Terminators. And I think these are going to look great in my Crimson Herald armour. I also think if I can kit bash some stuff onto them from either the Heresy era or some firstborn Terminators, it'll also add to the, you know, the I want to personalize them. Basically, I'm fed up building things just as they are, and I'm going to do a bit of personalization on this. So issue number 40, if we compare it to issue number 39, it feels like actually it's quite a light issue with a lot less stuff in it. But we, you know, we do get the Chaos Space Marine Terminators, and they are just awesome. I absolutely love them. So it's kind of like the issue ain't great, but the models are amazing. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you for the next video.